WRAZ Radio 102.7 Adrian, Missouri. 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 WRAZ Radio 102.7 Adrian, Missouri.
Here we are. I'm going to try something different tonight. I'm going to record this for later broadcast over the air on the FM radio. So let me start the recording. And here we are, QRAZ Radio 102.7. Tonight we have Ryan Wescoat, City Administrator for Adrian, joining us. There he is right there. Look at him smile. And just to get the little housekeeping thing out of the way, I'm going to do this. We got the Amsterdam Jubilee coming up. The Car and Bike Show is September 24th. Trophies for first place and runner-up in 4 categories: best car, runner-up, best car, best truck, and runner-up, best bike and runner-up, and fan favorites and runner-up. The $10 fee, 50-50 drawings will be held 3:30 p.m. for trophies. You can, if you want to talk to Vicki about this, you can give her a call, 660-267-3161, or Tony at 5585. And that was the housekeeping I had. So we can do that now. Hi, Ryan. How you doing?
I am doing well. Thank you for having me. How are you tonight?
Got no sound. Are you muted?
No, doesn't. Is that any better?
Huh. You were working just a second ago. This is kind of normal. Wait, let's try that again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, it was operator error.
You know, my favorite saying is technology is great when it works right.
Yeah, and if I've got a new mix board, and things are different. And you're the first live guest I've had since I put this board in.
Well, I am happy to be here, sir, and I'm happy to be your guinea pig.
Yeah, I did Peggy Burr, on here on the other board. Everything was just as smooth as silk. And then I changed boards. So I have to relearn things. Well, I was invaded. Okay. Ryan is our news. The shiny's probably wearing off that new part by now.
Well, I've been around for a couple of months now.
Yeah.
It's sometimes it still feels brand new every single day. There's always a new challenge sometimes, but always exciting.
Everybody's going to tell you how easy it is in a small town. I think small towns have got some bigger challenges than the bigger cities.
Well, so far from my experience, with what it's been is that the challenges are kind of the same, but when you're in a small town, you get to tackle the problem head on, and sometimes you're tackling it by yourself. And sometimes there might only be one other person standing beside you, and so that's probably the primary difference.
Yeah, you got nobody to call on, no staff.
What's the expression? The cheese stands alone.
Yeah. Yep. There's my sister. She's in Harrisonville, so she don't count for this. We give her a hard time. You've been city administrator just about the same amount of time as I've been back in Adrian. I was here for years and then was gone for a few years and came back.
I started on June 23rd, which happened to be my birthday. That was my first day as the city administrator, and we've hit the ground running. And it's been sometimes like drinking from a fire hose.
Yeah,
but it's been enjoyable. It's been enjoyable so far.
I'm going to ask you a silly question. When people comment, I can pop it up on the screen. Are you getting to see that?
I see hello. Yes.
Yeah, Julie Bennett said hello.
Yes.
Julie Stevens says hi.
Yep, I can see it.
And people can, if they want to ask you a question, they can put it in the comments and I can pop it up on the screen.
Sounds good.
I sent you a cheat sheet.
Yes, you did. I jotted some notes down ahead of time.
I didn't want to blindside you with anything. But there are other people I might do that with.
You know what? And it's fair. You know, when you're in a position of a public trust, you know, when you're in local government, you know, all is fair. I do my best to answer every question that I can, and my commitment is if I do not know the answer, I will go research it and I will get back with anybody that asks that question.
That's a good approach, because nobody can expect you to know the answer to everything, and some things aren't simple yes and no.
That is very true. Very true.
So I'm going to just dive in here.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to tell you, you probably don't see this, but on my screen it says we've got half a dozen people watching.
Okay.
Don't let that bother you, because they'll come back later tonight, and by the time morning gets here, the number's going to be way up there.
I understand.
This stays available. Well, it just stays unless I go in and delete it. And I'm doing something different because I'm actually recording this so I can take it and put it on the radio station at a later time.
Okay.
I am not yet set up for simulcast. It's a matter of running some wires, and I'm not set for in-studio interviews yet. By this time next week, I hope to be. So I can bring somebody in, set them down at a table, put a mic in front of them, and just have a conversation. That's what I want you to think of this. This is just a conversation.
Sounds good.
Okay. And I did have the questions, and one of them was just, what's going on now? What's happening?
You know, we're doing a lot of things. One of my commitments is to bring transparency to city government. And we've opened up a lot of different avenues to make that happen. Don't know if some of the people have gone out and looked at our Facebook page. I try to keep that updated fairly regularly. That's just City of Adrian, Missouri, out on Facebook. And we've released a brand new website that we've tried to make it very robust.
It's looking good.
And, you know, one of the things that citizens probably don't realize yet is that you can actually sign up for alerts as well as news items from the city, and we'll either text you or send you an email anytime there's an alert or some type of new news that's going on within the city. I want to make sure that if we're shutting down a series of roads, or, if for some reason we have to put a boil order in place, that we create all the avenues to where we can get that word out immediately to people. One of the things we're working on right now is we're adding a feature to the website. It's called Text My Gov. And what that's going to be able to do is people are going to be able to report, if there's a pothole in the road, if there's a stray animal, if we're going to talk about zoning and codes here coming up, I'm pretty sure. And so if there's somebody that has, high grass, things of that nature, they'll be able to text us. We'll be able to receive that and be able to respond quickly. I just want to make sure that people know that, we're here to serve them, and, City Hall's available. So if you haven't had a chance to get out and look at the website, go and explore it. A lot of different features. I post probably the newest thing that we're doing is I've posted our agendas and our board packet. So everything that the Board of Aldermen and the mayor are going to be looking at, that's going to be online the Friday before our Monday meetings. And so everybody will have access to that. They'll be able to see exactly, the bills. They'll be able to see the expenses, basically everything that goes on at City Hall during the Board of Aldermen meeting, they're going to be able to see. And eventually, my plan is to get to where we're actually broadcasting the Board of Aldermen meetings as well as the Park Board meetings, things of that nature. That way, people who can't make it to City Hall will be able to see what's going on at City Hall.
And there's your website.
Yes. Yep.
And
Yeah.
Julie Bennett says you're very helpful.
Well, we try to be responsive. City government would not exist without the people, and we're here to serve. And so
that's the attitude to take. And I'm going to be honest with you. I was in Adrian enough in the past to go through some not so great mayors, not so great council, and not so great city administrator. So I've got great hopes for you.
Well, I tell you what, I am very privileged. I think we have a great leadership group at City Hall. The mayor and the council, they're very motivated to make Adrian the best place to live. They're committed to that, and it makes my job a lot easier when everybody says, "Hey, what can we do to improve?" And so I'm really looking forward to the next 6 and 12 months, because I think you're going to see a big difference around City Hall.
I'm glad to hear that. I think you got a great group to work with now.
Definitely, most definitely.
Yep. And then the next thing is what's coming up, what's new.
Well, so don't know if anybody's been out yet to look at the Facebook page, but tomorrow night we're going to have our park board meeting. First park board meeting in a while. The mayor and the aldermen have reconstituted that board. So they're going to get together for their first meeting. Now, after tomorrow night's meeting, their normal meeting will be the first Thursday of the month at 6:30 at City Hall. And everybody's invited to attend. It's open meeting. Anytime that we post that, all the citizens can come and join us and see what's going on. So we're looking for great things from the new park board coming in. One of the other things at City Hall that we're doing right now is we're getting new financial and utility billing software. One of the things
that.
Well, I'm a big believer in transparency. And so this new software will allow us to be more transparent. We're going to post more financial reports online for people to see, for citizens to hold us accountable. The other thing it's going to allow us to do is we're going to be able to start taking utility bills online, so people can start paying those things, from the convenience of their home. We're just going to try to make things, more seamless, and just try to deliver and better service to our citizens. Some of the other things that we've got a lot of projects in the works. Grant money is available now with all the federal money that's flowing out of DC. I think the state is getting either 2.6 or 4.6 billion dollars that they're going to distribute out in grants. And so we're looking at a lot of different opportunities to take what money we have and really expand it. So
even if it's a 50-50 grant, that's a heck of a savings.
Absolutely. And right now, most of them are 80-20. So if you've got a $40,000 savings, you can turn it into a $200,000 project with that multiple. And so 3 of the things that we're doing right now that we're just waiting to hear back. The first one is a drinking water grant that was funded through ARPA, which is we're going to look at replacing everybody's water meter. We've slowly been replacing the old meters with new ones. There's a lot of functionality in the new meters. There's a lot of report capabilities so that we can actually track water usage by the hour. So if somebody's got a leak, or if things are just a little odd, we're able to track that down and work with the citizens there to get that taken care of, so they don't have extremely high water bills. And so hopefully we hear about that grant towards the end of the month. We're working on another one for our sewer infrastructure. We're going to basically reline the sewers that are starting to collapse, the sewer line on the southwest, west, and northwest side of town. That's about a $330,000 project. And then lastly, the EPA has put out some new guidelines that require municipalities and any water district that we have to account for any lead and copper lines that are in our service lines. So we're going to have to start doing inventory. And so citizens need to be aware of that, that probably in the next few months, we'll probably start with an informational item that, hey, we need to know what's inside their lines inside their house so that we can account for that. Hopefully we can get all those lines, those lead lines out if there's any left. Some of the other things, go ahead.
I just realized that we're starting to get known, and I'm having to deal with spammers in the chat area.
That happens.
Some of them are interesting.
I have no doubt.
And none of them are clean. And I've been doing this for not here, but between Arizona and here, almost 2 years. And this is the last couple have been the first ones where I've had to deal with these yahoos. So,
well, you know what? That growing pains, right?
Yeah, apparently. Okay, I think you covered what I was going to ask. I was going to ask you what was coming up, and you explained all that.
Well, and
another good one here.
Oh, I was going to say some of the other things that we're doing is we're evaluating some new contracts. Our trash removal contract is coming up, so we'll be putting that out for bid. The other thing we're doing is we're looking for new investment opportunities for the city. Anytime the stock market starts to tumble a little bit, it's the inverse. The bond market starts to increase. And so, a couple of years ago, the investments to the city were pretty limited. Now they're starting to open up to where hopefully we can really be more fiduciary responsible to the citizens and increase the interest that we're earning on those investments. Increase the money in the city's coffers.
Linda wants to know if this is going to improve the taste of the water.
That I'm not sure of. Right now we're just dealing with the meters. So here's one of the benefits that I see. If we replace all of the water meters, especially the ones that are aging, that should allow us to reduce our water loss, which then reduces the cost to produce the water, which then flows back to the citizens in reduced rates. And so that's what we're looking at, hopefully, with this change out.
And you'll see things that if anybody that actually goes out and reads meters and stuff, they're going to see meters with water standing, and that looks like a small leak, but you got 1,000 meters, that adds up in a hurry.
It really does. It really does. And what a lot of people don't realize is, if you've got a toilet that does the phantom flushing,
yes,
depending on how quickly that happens, you can go through a lot of water in a short period of time.
Or it just, the ball's not set right.
Yep.
Just running a trickle constantly. Yeah.
The one thing that amazed me, just learning about what drives water costs and what drives water usage, the difference diameter in a garden hose, the flow rate between a 1/2 inch and a 3/4 inch hose is absolutely amazing. And I didn't realize that, but it's a huge difference.
And any plumber can tell you,
yeah.
2-inch pipe and a 3-inch pipe, that's not the same thing.
That is correct. That is absolutely correct.
Yeah. What's your biggest challenge coming up?
Probably our biggest challenge the city is facing is just supply chain issues. There's a backlog on the water meters. There's a backlog, trying to replace vehicles, trying to get materials. That's probably been the biggest challenge so far.
Yeah, and I've seen that from other government bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Say, having a new fleet ordered and then have the order canceled.
Yeah, we actually experienced that just this last year, and so we're opening up new avenues. One of the things that I did, I applied for the city to be part of the state co-op program. So the state will go out and put different contracts out for bid. Once those are awarded, then any municipality, any governmental entity can tie into those and be able to get that type of pricing. And so I signed the city up to that. We were approved to be a part of that operation. We're also looking at different leasing options. Anything that we can do to kind of get creative. Especially if we can get those things in, and as long as we can do it at a value.
And that co-op is a great thing. When I was first in business, there were guys doing what I did all over. We were not competitors because I was up in the city then.
Right.
And I covered a pretty good area, and I covered another area, and other people thought we were competitors, but we helped each other,
Absolutely.
Right. This, you make a phone call, they say, "Oh, I did that last week. Here's what you do." Yeah. And we started a small co-op. There was 5 of us in Kansas City, 1 in Nevada, and 1 in New Mexico. And, we need to order something. Well, how many do you need? How many do you need? And it's amazing the discounts you can get if you get your order bigger.
Economies of scale make a huge difference.
Yeah.
That's why, I look at other cities and I, just like you said, I don't view them as competitors. I look at them and say, okay, how can we work together to maximize our buying power to where we can really leverage what we have and get things at bulk price, whether that's road salt, whether that's oil, whether that's, fuel. So I try to reach out pretty regularly to other city administrators and city managers just to say, hey, do you guys have something coming up that we can be a part of to where we can take advantage of it?
And that's one of the smartest moves you can make, in my opinion. And of course, my opinion's worth what you pay for.
Well, I've always taken the approach that if we're going to be in government, we need to have a seat at the table. And if we're invited to that table, even if we're, a small player in the scope of things, if we're sitting at the table, our voice will get heard. And that's an important thing.
And even if you're a small player, if there's bigger players that need, let's use your road salt,
mm-hmm.
and they're needing 10,000 tons and you need 2,000 tons, you get that discount anyway.
That's right.
So
it's
may not be saving as much as them, but to you it'll feel like it.
Right. Well, and sometimes our 2,000 might help them over the tipping point to where they're at the next break point for a greater discount. So our 2,000 really does save them even more money.
Yes, it's just a good idea all the way around.
Yeah.
Now, here come a couple of fun things.
Okay.
What do you need? What's the city need? A lot.
Well, I'm still relatively new, so a lot of it is I don't know what I don't know yet. From the standpoint of, I see the immediate things that we need to correct, and then once we fix those, then instead of being in firefighting mode, then we'll be able to be more proactive, where we're able to start putting things in place. Like one of the things that we definitely we need to put a 5-year strategy in place to say, okay, where does the city need to be in 5 years? We need to do some long range planning. I've had conversations with our mayor and our aldermen, and they are definitely on board with that. We're going to probably start having work sessions. Right now we have 1 meeting a month. I think we're going to go ahead and move to having a work session. So we'll have 2 meetings a month. One's the regular Board of Aldermen meeting. The other one is a work session to where we can start discussing things and having conversation about where we want to go, more planning.
Without everything being written down.
Yeah. Well, and so. It's
hard to have a free flow of thought and ideas if somebody's recording everything you say.
Well, now we're definitely going to be transparent, but typically, in a work session, it's more just a free flow of ideas, and so you try to jot down the high level concepts, but not everything is captured because it's not a formal meeting of the body because no one's making decisions. It's more just, hey, let's have conversations. What directions do we want to go? Things of that nature.
You can talk about what you want to talk about, in the formal meeting.
Yes.
Now, I've got one more question for you, but I wanted to ask if you've got time, I'll throw up a phone number and we can take call-ins.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
I don't know if we'll get a call. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we don't.
One of the other things that I'd like to announce, one of the things that we were working with the school district. The school district has an SRO officer now. And so,
That's Mike, isn't it?
Yes, Mike Briggs.
Yeah.
Great guy. He was with Harrisonville for a long time. And so now he's joined us here in Adrian. And I don't think we could be more fortunate to have somebody of his caliber at the school district. Great with kids, just a good guy. We're working with MoDOT, the school district and the city, and we're going to add an additional crosswalk across Main Street across at Missouri. And so there'll be another crosswalk for the kids to cross Main Street coming in and going home from school.
That's good.
Yeah.
And if the phone don't ring, we're going to be done here in just a little bit.
Hey, you know what? It's all good.
And the next question, and I sent it to you, what can we do to help you?
Just be involved. If you can get the word out for people to go out and subscribe to our website, the more people that see it, the more robust that becomes. If you know somebody that wants to link to it, one of the things that we've done is under the community section, there's a calendar of events.
Yes.
And so, we've been adding, library functions. We've been adding various other organizations around town's functions.
September's calendar.
Yeah. If people want to reserve shelters, we've actually gone out under the parks page, and we've got a map of the park. And if they want to reserve a shelter, they can shoot us an email. There's a contact us portion of our website, which you can send an email directly to the city. You can talk about, send it to the police, the fire department. You can send it to myself. You could send one of the other things that I did is we established a city email address. So all of the aldermen and the mayor have a city email address, so you can email your representatives. If you got a question, if you have a comment, I want to say this correctly. I always think that my ideas are great. But I acknowledge that, sometimes people have better ideas than I do. And so I love to hear other people's ideas, because sometimes it's things that I haven't thought about, or it's in a direction that I haven't thought about it before. And so, sometimes a third-party perspective can be invaluable when you're looking at projects, or you're looking at, hey, how do we move forward?
And I posted a link in chat, and I showed it on the screen for the city's website. And I've got George here. He says having a swimming facility would be good.
Yeah. Here's the challenge with swimming pools. I love to swim. Do it as often as I can. The challenge with swimming pools, I asked a contractor at the Missouri Municipal League that installs swimming pools. And so I asked him, I said, how often do they make money? And he goes, you want me to tell you the truth? And I said, please. He says, they make money the first year. And I said, okay. I said, explain that to me. He goes, well, the first year, he goes, you take the bonds out, you put the pool in, interest is high, so your memberships are high, and you don't have any payments due. And so for that first year, a pool is profitable. After the first year, now your bonds are due, and at that point, it's taxpayers subsidized. So
and the news worn off.
Yes, and so it's one of those situations where if the citizens want it, and we want to have those conversations, I am absolutely open to it. We just have to approach it from the standpoint of, we know that the city and the citizens are going to have to subsidize that, because the pool itself will never make enough money to be self-sustaining. Now, we can look at, water parks, we can look, our splash pads, other things of that nature that, might not necessarily cost as much as a pool. But I'm definitely open to ideas. And, And again, if the citizens want it, typically the citizens can pretty much get what they want. They just have to realize there's a cost associated with it.
Nothing's free.
Yeah.
That when I was in Arizona City, the fire department did this thing every summer for 6 weeks. They brought in inflatable water slide, inflatable pools, and they did a small water park. And they teamed with a couple of local charities. They did this for 6 weeks in the summer for the kids. They gave them a hot dog and a bag of chips and, bottled water and stuff like that. Some of those kids wouldn't have got lunch
Right.
without that,
Yeah.
So that's
a great idea.
It's just something that I saw and I thought, okay, I can't implement something like that. I'm sure they got discounts because on the rental of the water slides and stuff, they rented them for 6 weeks.
Right.
And they were open 5 days a week, and the entire fire department was involved because they actually had a paid fire department.
Right.
It wasn't huge, but if they got a call and the guys had to go, the off-duty ones come in.
Right.
They were doing it for the community.
Well, our fire department is all volunteer.
Yes.
But I can tell you this: there is not a more dedicated group of people than our volunteer fire department. They're some of the greatest people, and they'll do just about anything for this community.
Yep.
And
You've got a great chief leading that group.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
I've known him a while.
So. I am blessed with great staff all the way around. That makes a city administrator's job so much easier when there are staff members that are solid as they come. And Adrian, they definitely have that in their city staff. Well,
I want you to know that if you need anything from me, like this, I know how many people see this.
Right.
The radio station, I don't have a clue. Nobody's waving their arms and saying, hey.
Right.
But if I can help in any way, you let me know. You've got my email now.
Yes, sir. Well, and I look forward to being part of the program. Anytime that you want to have me back and people want to ask me questions, sometimes, things don't always go the way they're supposed to go. And so if we need to answer for something and citizens want to ask the hard questions, you know what, that's part of the deal. And yep. So I'm willing to step up and try to answer those questions and be accountable to the citizens.
Yep. And Linda brings up the point that there were some lady volunteers at the fire department. They did weekly spaghetti dinners, $10 a plate. You got spaghetti, you got a piece of bread, you got a bottle of water, and it was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's how one of the ways they raised money to support that water park. Well, and they did that, I think, 9 months a year or something like that with the spaghetti things. So
well, I think that's a great idea. I will definitely look into that because, when you see a great idea, steal it shamelessly, right?
That's right. Same way with a quote.
Well, and give credit where it came from. So yeah. Definitely.
Well, this has been great. And we've been going for about 35 minutes, which is pretty good because usually we suffer from short attention spans. I'm really glad you came and did this. And if you ever want to do it again, let me know because I can always make room for it.
Well, you know what? I would be honored to come back on. I also want to just let citizens know that City Hall is open to them. If they want to pop in, and as long as I'm not already in a meeting,
Yeah.
I'm willing to take a few minutes and sit down. And if you've got a concern, or if you just want to say hello, if you just want to introduce yourself, City Hall is open to the citizens of Adrian.
You did that for me.
Yes, sir. And it was an enjoyable conversation.
Yeah. And you got a great clerk.
Yes, we do.
She's a dandy.
We've also hired a part-time assistant, and I always get mixed up on exactly what her title is. It's not administrative assistant. I think she's an assistant clerk, but that's Amanda Rowland, and she's picking things up quick, and so she's at this the citizens service. So if they come in and they see a new face, it's Amanda, and just smile and say hello.
Well, I'll have to stop by and just say hi.
Yeah. She's part-time, so she works primarily in the mornings right now, and eventually maybe transitioning that into something a little more full-time.
Being the old retired guy, I'm up ridiculous early. And then by noon, I'm ready for a nap.
Well, you know what? That's the perks that come along with being retired, right?
It took a lot of years to get there.
When I was a kid, I thought naps were a punishment. Now I'm starting to appreciate them more and more every day.
Can they get you a cot in there?
That probably wouldn't be the best idea.
Give you an hour of quiet time, Especially like tonight, you're staying late. So,
well, here's the other thing. So as part of, being in that small community, I'm also the floodplain administrator for Adrian. So I'm actually going to be headed to Jeff City tomorrow for a training and all the new tools that are available to floodplain administrators, whether that's to prevent or to get set up for, in case of a natural disaster or what have you. So the next couple days I'll be down at Jeff City absorbing as much as I can.
Yeah. The training is good. Anything you can learn new, that's wonderful.
Well, I always figure, if I can go and learn one new thing, it's definitely worthwhile. And if I can bring that back to the community and implement it, and it makes it better, even better still.
That's right. That's great. Ryan, I want to thank you again for taking the time. We appreciate it. I think I'm going to start winding this down. And I'm recording this to put back on the air, and I haven't done that one before, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, my wife has commented several times that I do have a face for radio, so
I've been told that for years.
Well, you have to have a sense of humor, and you have to poke fun at yourself.
So
makes life a little easier.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna let you get out of here. Go get you something to eat.
Thank you, sir.
Put your feet up. And anytime you want to come on, you let me know, and don't be surprised if I call you someday or stop by and say, "Hey, Ryan, you want to do another one?"
Absolutely, I'm definitely willing. It's been enjoyable. Thank you for having me on.
I really appreciate it. You did it great for me. It helped me, and I'm going to wind this up and get out of here.
All right. Well, you have a wonderful night, sir.
You have a good night, and we'll catch you next time.
Sounds good.
All right, folks. That was the Ryan Wescoat, City Administrator in Adrian. We're going to fade out of here. Y'all take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Have a good night. And